Hi, it's your girl, national best-selling author Kim Brooks, and I am so excited because I'm about to host a webinar. Woo! I am a Christian book coach, and oftentimes I talk to a lot of authors, aspiring authors who have a lot of questions about their book, how to become a published author, what they need to do, and then not only that, how to become a best-selling author, because you can come out with a book, but every book that comes out is not a bestseller. Unfortunately, statistics show that the average book sells about 250 copies, and then a book that sells okay sells about 2,500 copies. So, and then most people initially you sell to like family and friends, so that's your 250 copies right there. But how do you sell more? How do you get it to where it sells nationwide and bookstores nationwide and online so that it becomes a best-selling book so that you can become a best-selling author? I have, since I've been a published author for about 14 years now, I have 6 paperback books, and I've been on 3 different bestsellers lists. I've been on Black Expressions Book Club bestsellers list for 2 months in a row for my first book, which was He's Fine But Is He Saved? This is the hardcover version of it. And this was actually the self-published version. I initially self-published, and then it got picked up by Harlequin, which had an inspirational imprint through BET Books. So this one was on the Black Expressions bestseller list for 2 months. It was also on the Black Christian News Network bestseller list as well. Next was the sequel, He's Saved, but Is He For Real? So it pretty much continues the story, and this one was on the Black Christian News Network bestseller list. And this one is my latest one, She That Finest. So this one's pretty new. I mean, it came out through Atria Books, which actually is an imprint of Simon and Schuster. So this one is my latest novel, and then I self-published nonfiction books. So the first one I self-published was this one, the Little Black Survival Book for Single Saints. And then this one, How to Date and Stay Saved. And then this one, Faith in Broken Places, Understanding God's Plan in the Midst of Pain, which was inspired by my car accident that I had in 2015 where I broke my femur in 3 places. So this book was birthed out of that pain. God was giving me scriptures to see me through it. And as he was sharing with me, I was pouring into this book. So, and then I have some exclusive ebooks, one of which is called Get Over Your Ex in One Weekend. And then I have another one called Is It a Sin to Masturbate? Discover what the Bible says and be free. Now that one was on the Amazon bestsellers list. So I'm going to talk about Amazon too on the call as well, on the webinar as well, because there is a way that you can position your book before it even comes out so that it can become an Amazon bestseller within the first couple weeks of its release. But it's a certain way that you have to position it. So I'm going to talk about that, the whole how to position your book to be an Amazon bestseller. And then I'm also going to talk about how to become a bestseller based on the different elements that have to be already in place before your book comes out. There are certain things that have to already be in place. I mean, we're going to talk about everything from the cover. We're going to talk about the front matter, the back matter, the interior, the different things that need to be in place. I'm going to share those secrets with you so that you'll know, because people are not sharing it. They're not talking about it. I mean, unfortunately, we have something in our heart and we just want to just do it ourselves and not talk to somebody who's been there and done that. And because I've been out here a minute, like I said, I've been published author over 10 years. And when I talk to aspiring authors and I answer their questions, and then I see that they go it alone and that they don't ask for me to coach them and consult them, and then they run into hiccups and they run into all kinds of, they end up spending money where they didn't have to spend it, and they end up in situations where they lose their rights to their book because they signed some contract they shouldn't have signed. And I just sit back and go, okay, all you had to do was talk to me. I could have told you everything. So I want to make myself available with this webinar. And at first I was going to do it for maybe 2.5 hours. I wanted the last half hour for Q&A, but I'm actually going to do it for 3 hours. It's going to be Saturday, May 19th, and I'm going to do it from 1 to 3 p.m. what is that? 1 to 4, 3 hours. So the first 2 hours I'm going to teach, and then the full last hour I'm going to take your specific questions about your book. And this isn't just for people that have aspiring, that have books on the way. This is also for current authors that have books out, because if you have your book out, I can share with you how you can tweak your current book so that you can position it to become a bestseller. It's all in how you position it. It's all in making sure you include certain elements. And the beauty behind when you print a book is that you can always have it updated. I mean, you can even have it launched as an updated version, So I definitely look forward to sharing that with you. So like I said, the first couple hours I'm going to teach. And the last hour I'm going to take your questions and give you specific one-on-one coaching for those on the webinar. Now, the reason this is so important and so big is because normally I have industry friends who charge $250 for a 1-hour consultation. And then mine are normally about, I think it's $97 for 1 hour. Well, for this call, I'm going to do it where you can receive all the information and have your questions answered for only $37, which is good through May 11th. I think that's a Friday, May 11th. And then after May 11th, it'll be $47. So register now so you can save money and get it at the lower rate. And I'm going to be yours for 3 hours, sharing all the secrets, sharing how to position your book, sharing the different elements that are included to make your book a bestseller when it comes out. Because you may know people who have books, but they are not bestseller books. Some people printed thousands of books because they didn't have mentorship, and those books are in their garage sitting there. And you don't want that. I even share how many books you should print initially, because you want to test the market. You don't want to just assume. You don't want to assume anything. You want to test the market. You want to see if there's a demand for your type of book. I always encourage people, before you even publish your book, have people in your market read the first few chapters. Ask them what they think. For my first novel, I created a list of questions, open-ended questions, and I was like, okay, what did you like about the book? What did you not like about the book? Would you finish reading the book? Why or why not? Because I wanted feedback. Because when you have feedback, you know how to make it better. So that's the thing with a book. It's kind of like you're writing for the audience. You're not writing for yourself. You're not writing what you think people will want or what you think people would like. Even when people are writing autobiographical books, most people I talk to, they're like, I want to write about my story, which is great. We want to testify. You want to turn your mess into a message, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I'm sure there are people that can relate to what you're going through, but you have to position it in a way where it's relatable to the reader and written for the reader, so that the reader can be edified, encouraged, and uplifted and taken out of their situation because they see you as a testimony. So those are some of the writing elements. But as far as for this webinar, we're going to talk about some of the things you can add to the book. We're not going to talk about the writing side unless you have a question for me. But for the part that I'll be teaching, it's going to be about what elements are necessary. Just like baking a cake, you have certain ingredients you have to put in it before you put it in the oven and give it time to come out as a beautiful cake. You have to have certain ingredients in there. The same thing with a book. You have to have certain things, certain elements, certain ingredients in the book in order for it to come out a bestseller, so that you can become a best-selling author, so that you can use that title and leverage it. One of the reasons I got my publishing deal was I was able to tell them I sold over 10,000 copies and I was a bestseller. I mean, those things get the attention of publishers where they'll be knocking on your door instead of the other way around. So when they come to you, then you have more leverage to get a better deal, if you will, a better book deal. I was in my 20s and my first book deal was 5 figures. And then my latest novel, I was able to do myself without an agent, because my first book deal I had an agent, but the last one, because I had proven record in the market, I was able to do it without an agent and get more money, and it still was in the 5-figure range, which is actually really good considering the climate of the publishing industry right now. A lot of publishers aren't even handing out book deals like they were in the past. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you how to make your book a bestseller, the different elements that are necessary and required to make your book a bestseller. So go ahead and register on the website. I probably have a link somewhere. And like I said, if you register early before May 11th, you can get the whole thing for just $37, or after the 11th it will be $47, which either way it's actually awesome, because I'm going to be with you for 3 hours, 2 hours of teaching, 1 hour individual Q&A answering your questions. So I look forward to sharing with you. This is going to be the only webinar I do for this year, so be sure and register today. And like I always say, be and stay encouraged.